we could begin, Ruben, just with a little background on your work. How many years have you been in Chicago Heights now ministering?
Yeah, it's I started here 4 years ago. So back in early June of 2016, that's when I started at the Spanish Ministry in Chicago Heights. So we're under the oversight of Faith URC Beecher, and there are five supporting churches. Then each supporting church is represented on our joint venture committee, the JVC. So we have some URCs from Illinois, some URCs from Indiana. So yeah, they also provide input and provide a lot of support for the work. So
awesome. You've had background in Hispanic work in the past. This is a Spanish ministry. How much of your time is spent in Spanish? How much in English?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sure. Yeah, as far as like when I'm interacting with our members and regular visitors, that's mainly in Spanish. And then I also I'm part of the Faith URC Council and Consistory. So I go to meetings, and my family actually worship is at Beecher in the morning. So yeah, it's interesting. My family and I live like a bilingual, bicultural existence. So yeah, it's like in English and in Spanish, and even when it comes to our bulletins, it's bilingual. And since we have volunteers and overseeing church officers like an elder or a deacon from the mother church, supervising church, I make sure that we have an English manuscript so they can follow along. So in many ways, it's like a bilingual, bicultural existence. Yeah.
And I imagine the next generation, most of the young people and children are fluent in English.
Right.
So yeah, they're very comfortable in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as typically I think when you have children, every succeeding generation they lose that Spanish, those Spanish skills, and they lose that familiarity, with their Hispanic background, and so they're more assimilated, into the American culture. So
yeah. Your background is Hispanic, but many generations back, right? So your family's been in the States for many, many years.
Yeah, I was born in Santa Monica, California, and both my parents are from the same village, the same pueblito, as we say, in Oaxaca, in a little village in Tlacolula. It's named Tlacolula. It's in the state of Oaxaca in southern Mexico. So my dad came to the U.S. as a farm worker back in 1964. And then, when he married my mom, they both came here in 1973. So yeah, they've been here a long time. And yeah, I grew up in the States.
Very good. Now, what about your family? What can you tell us about you have a number of children?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my family, Lee and I have been married going on 21 years. So went by very quickly. And we have 5 kids from 6 to 16. So the youngest is Cece, who's 6, then Jonathan, who's 7, David, who's 10, and then Sophia's 14, and then Evangeline Eva, she's 16.
Oh, very good. I have 5 kids too, so you have a handful.
Yeah, we homeschool, and yeah, we're reaching certain milestones, like Evangeline's learning how to drive. So
now, what can you tell us about where your ministry is specifically? I know Chicago Heights it's a big area.
Sure.
You maybe tell us where you worship and where your offices are, just to give people a general idea.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when you think of Chicagoland, it's the 3rd largest city in the States, and pretty big area, covers a lot. So we're considered part in the south suburbs. So Chicago Heights is one of the cities in the south suburbs, and the city itself is about 30,000 people. And so there's a Hispanic population of about 34% of the population in the Heights are Hispanic, so a little more than a third. And that's based on 2010 census. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's higher. There's a lot of recent immigrants from Mexico and Puerto Rico as well. And so where we worship is typically at the First Presbyterian Church in Chicago Heights. But since they're an older congregation, their facilities have been closed to the public. So we actually have been moving to different locations since Indiana opened up sooner during this whole coronavirus pandemic. We were there for a few weeks in Dyer, Indiana at a Christian school worshiping on Sunday. And now we're at the office, which is in downtown Chicago Heights. We're pretty close to City Hall and pretty close to the police station. So
a lot of your work, Bible studies, is that based out of your offices there?
Yes, some of it's based there, and some of it we've done Bible studies in people's homes. For example, one of our members, Margarito Mosso, he hosted a Bible study. And then one of our regular visitors owns a coffee shop. And so she's hosted a Bible study as well, during just her regular hours. So sometimes people come in to get their organic coffee and it's like, oh, there's a study happening. So they sometimes join us. So
that's great. How did that Bible study go, Ruben?
Yeah, it was good. Thank you. I mean, as far as the one that's meeting at the coffee shop, at its peak, we probably had, anywhere between 25 to 30 people. And so right now, we haven't met since March, but just prior to all of the shutdown, we were averaging around 15. So, and we've had a lot of visitors come as a result of the study. That's probably been our most fruitful outreach, the Bible study. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What are some of the other ways that you're getting to know people, maybe pre-COVID? I know a lot of things have been put on hold for you, but.
Yeah. We actually had an English class. And so we met and at the PASS office, Pregnancy Center office. And so I had a chance to reach out to people there. They were Hispanic, they were limited English speakers, so we reached out to them. And so prior to COVID, we actually had an arrangement with the program director of Chicago Heights Park District, where she said, Ruben, if you want to offer an English class here in the Park District in downtown Chicago Heights, you're more than welcome. So and I even asked her, it's like, I'll be using Bible League curriculum and I'll be using ending the lesson, like, with a Bible story. And it's like, oh, that's fine. People should know their Bible. Wow. So that was encouraging. I saw a Bible verse above her in her office, so that was great. But at this point, since we can't meet face to face, now I'm videotaping all of the English classes, and then they're being posted on the Park District Facebook, on their website, and also on their just YouTube channel. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I guess the longer you're in a place, the more contacts you have, and the more people trust you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So the more I come in contact with people over a long period of time, we build that relationship and that trust, and they feel a lot more comfortable coming to worship with us on Sunday. So that's been my experience, Rich. It's like I'm developing relationships over a long period of time, and then it's just natural for them to visit us, once they get to know us. So yeah.
What has been your biggest challenge in your ministry there?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's just been the slow process of just getting to know people. I'm new to this area, so I'm still kind of like, one of my first priorities was just getting to know everyone. Everyone meaning my mother church, at the supporting churches, getting to know the people of El Pacto, and then their friends, relatives, co-workers, and just kind of like building those relationships, because not only to get visitors, but also to recruit volunteers. It's, people get solicitations all the time, but when they know you personally, yeah, it makes it easier. So I'd say at the beginning, it was, the learning curve was pretty steep, because I was just trying to build relationships both within Pacto and all of our supporters. So
when you compare your work in Southern California, you were in Ontario working with Hispanics there for quite a few years. Mm-hmm. Would there be a big difference between working in Chicago, working in California?
Yeah, absolutely. There's differences in terms of, I would say in Southern California, it was more immigrants from Mexico. But here in Chicago, I see a significant Puerto Rican population. And there seems to be more diversity in terms of which countries in Latin America, like either from Peru or from Ecuador or from the Caribbean. And in fact, we had a lady just the other day visit us, and she was from Guatemala. So we're in Southern California, there seems to be, mainly Mexicans that I interacted with. Here, there seems to be people from different parts of Latin America. Also in California, I would say that, the people that I work with, I ministered to, they're more from like middle class, area. And here in the Heights, it's been lower socioeconomic. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And of course, every Latin country is very different, right?
Right.
The Mexican culture is very different from the Peruvian culture, from the Guatemalan culture. So I'm sure that's a learning curve as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've learned things about the dynamics between, different Latin American countries, right? Like who get along and who don't get along.
Yes.
But I'm thankful, brother, that we've been able to, get along together as brothers and sisters in Christ. So it's great to see that unity. So,
can I ask you a controversial question? Who has the best food?
Oh man, that's great. Well, you know what? One time I had a conversation with Bill Green, and he said, you know what, you got to have like kind of have to have the I don't know, the stomach of a missionary. I don't know if Bill remembers that, but just to be able to enjoy and appreciate everyone's cooking. Yeah. But of course, I mean, my parents, they were great cooks, and so my I would probably say Mexico. Although right now, I'll be honest with you, Rich. Now that we're close to the seminary, and there's sometimes we get international students, I've developed a great love for Indian food from India. So
yes. Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things here. So
excellent. Is there someone that you can you tell someone's story? Somebody that you're working with, somebody that's been impacted by the gospel, somebody that comes to mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting, brother. I mean, everyone has a very special story, and so maybe this is something I can write about, as well. I would say, I can mention Margarito. Margarito, he actually works for one of the families that attend Faith URC in Beecher, and he also works with someone from Linwood URC, and he's been a great brother. He started coming a couple years even before I came, and so he's just really grown in his commitment and his love for the Lord. He's married to Marta, and they have 6 children. Youngest Mateo, who was just recently born earlier this year and was baptized. And and the time that he's been here, he's just grown. He loves to learn, loves the Lord, and from what his supervisors tell me, he definitely works as unto the Lord. He has a great work ethic, and so I can definitely see him as a potential officer in the future. And so he definitely loves the Lord. He shares that with his family in their privately, publicly, and corporate worship. He definitely shows his love for the Lord in various ways. So
It's every church planter's desire, right? To see someone
Yeah.
slowly but surely make progress in the faith. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I love too about Margarito is that he invites family and friends over. He's constantly wanting to have other people hear God's word proclaimed. So when it was his Mateo's baptism, he had his siblings and friends from work join us for that baptism service. And so, yeah, it was great to see them. And yeah, if I could have, I can think of Teo as well and others as well that have contributed greatly. And if I had like many of those, yeah, that'd be great. That would be a dream.
Very good.
Yeah.
How can we be praying for you specifically?
Yes, thank you, brother. You know what? As far as the English class, ideally it would be face-to-face because I get a chance to get to know students before, during, and after class, and you make a personal connection. So a prayer request would be if the Lord would just open those doors and we're allowed to meet at the Park District office, that would be great. So we could have a face-to-face, traditional kind of classroom rather than virtual. Also, Rich, another way we're reaching out to the community is last summer we had a community dinner at a local park in a Hispanic neighborhood, Jurtle Park. And right now the parks are open, but they're limited to 50 people. So last year we had about 100 people turn out. So I would like to do a community dinner, at that local park once again. And if the Lord would also open those doors so we can, maybe have a regular event, annual event at the very least, so we can see the same people, the same faces, and make those connections. So.
Good. Well, thank you so much for your time today, brother. Anybody who listens to this, please stop by and see the Sernases, the mission work there. It's exciting to be there when you're going through Chicago. Please take every opportunity to visit and encourage these brothers.
All right. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for your prayers and encouragement, and for everyone listening. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you.